Environment today. We could feel the crowd both ways. I think West Virginia traveled well and Michigan traveled well, and it was a good event. We knew we were going to meet this type of challenge with the defensive intensity that they have, crawl up into us and basically play a no-catch type of defense. And we couldn't get the back doors we wanted, so we went to a dribble drive, and it wasn't always pretty, but it sure felt good to get the win.
Questions?
John, any update on Horford's status and how serious that knee is?
Yeah, he dislocated, his kneecap came out. I don't know the medical term, but it came back in. That's the similar injury he had earlier in the year. So I don't know how serious it is until they get a look at it.
With Horford out, the minutes that he might get, they seem to all go to Morgan and not as much for McGarry and Bielfeldt. Can you talk about kind of that?
Well, Mitch was in foul trouble, and I think just Max hasn't played because of his injury, since the Bradley game. So we don't know how serious it is, but we don't expect him back quickly. But I'm not sure. We hope so. Max will just move right in there. He's really been playing well in practice, sort of been log jam a little bit while he learns everything, but we're excited where we feel bad for John, we're excited that Max will have this opportunity.
What do you tell John? I mean, after all this, it's got to be just brutal to even talk about this.
We love John so much, everybody on this team, because John will admit, he has a unique personality. And everybody loves him so much, and that's what you tell him. And he just got to keep battling and keep battling. But he's made so many good strides. He's worked so hard that better days are ahead, and he'll fight through this. We hope that it's something again that he can return to and from in 2 or 3 weeks, if not sooner.
You guys jumped out to a quick lead. How important was it to jump on West Virginia and to gain the momentum and then be able to sustain that throughout the entire
I'm sure,
game?
with the outcome of the game, I'm glad we got out to that, obviously, because that would have been tough to sustain their run. I mean, we had 6 turnovers, 6 or 8 turnovers out of some freshmen right now that will learn so much from it, but it was good to get out to the start, but hanging on to it was going to, you're not going to play at that pace the whole game long.
Was there any added satisfaction that the win came over West Virginia?
I have a feeling, and our whole team has a feeling. Any type of game that we win is big. Anytime it's away from Chrysler Center, I feel really good about all those. Our family had so many great memories of West Virginia, and we have a lot of respect for their program, and that's what makes it feel really good because we respect their team, their coach, their university.
John, were you happy with the offensive balance with Tim and Trey scoring the majority of the points? I know you like to have a little bit more.
Yeah, what they did again with the no catch type of defense is really hard to spread it around. So they were really shutting down, locking the wings, and wouldn't let us make some of our entries to share it. So we basically had to go to a dribble drive. If it was 10 years ago, we would have just kept backdooring, and probably would have had 20 turnovers, maybe had some backdoor layups, but might not have won the game. So we go to dribble drive more when we see that type of attack, defensive attack. So it is going to be a guard, and I'll take those two. And I think a couple of teams have done that to us. We got to continue to get better at it, but we don't mind handling that type of defensive attack. And they're good at it. They're really good at it, I thought.
Is that something that more teams are starting to do, that they're reacting to or looking at maybe past on and saying that's?
Well, I think it's indigenous to 2 of the teams we play between Arkansas and West Virginia. That's how they play. Now, that's how Purdue plays for the most part. I'm not sure how Nebraska will play, but in our league now, I don't know what Eastern or Central will do in our next 2 games. But it's almost a style of play. You're not going to change that game to game. Too many teams will do that. That is how they play. They're out there in the gaps, pressuring you, and you got to execute against that. It's a matter of will sometimes. We had good will today.
2 more questions.
Was there any, deep breath or sigh of relief when Tim hits a couple shots in the first couple minutes to kind of get over this? Because it's been a little bit of a funk for
No,
him.
I know, and for you guys, I understand why it would be for you guys, because you don't see what I see every day in practice. But as I said at the press conference yesterday, he's been on fire. So once he hits that first couple ones, you're hoping it's going to continue, but I see this every day in practice right now. And so I know he's had some games, but it was like, Tim, if you don't take that shot, I got to take you out, because you make it every day in practice. We want our guys to take shots that they make in practice. If they don't make those shots in practice, they shouldn't be taking them. It's not a laboratory out there. We're not experimenting in games. And Tim makes those in practice.
Another big environment here in Brooklyn. What have you seen out of your team in these kind of situations, in these kind of places?
I like the way we respond. You know, it's something when you travel with the Block M and you have that type of support here on a Saturday in Brooklyn or New York City. It's a great feeling to go out and represent the university. But again, away games. Maybe it's just me, but I think every coach feels this way. An away game or a neutral site game, those wins. If you ask any coach and you said, give us your best wins, they're going to rattle off mostly away games or games where it wasn't a home advantage, or if they were maybe a home advantage, but they knocked off the #1 team in the country. But usually the best wins are away from the comfort level of being at home.
One final question.
Coach, everybody knew how good your backcourt was this year, but have they even exceeded your expectations so far?
I think that both of them surprise me sometimes on just what they can do, and I think Laval Jordan deserves a lot of credit on this one. My assistant coach who works with those two, the drills that he does with them and the emphasis he does with them is all about skill development. So, but there's still some things that Val can't teach, I can't teach. They're both able to do. And they got some great DNA, and that makes a big difference, both of them. They really, and they both have passion, the same passion for the ball to work out to be in this situation. They are not ones that just show up in the gym. Those two work in the off season, before practice, after practice.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thanks, everyone.